Hey guys, it's Choppy here, and I just want to tell you guys that you should optimize your keybinds right now, and this is why you should. Fortnite recently have actually stopped all the competitive game modes, and they will be releasing a World Cup qualifier or something soon. But until then, there seems to be nothing until the next season, so you have plenty of time to prepare and practice new and optimal keybinds. If you get optimal keybinds, not only will it make you much better at the game, but you still have time to learn these keybinds. Anyways, enjoy the video. I will be showing you guys which things you should optimize. Okay guys, so the first tab is your game and video settings on PC. On console you wouldn't have this, but pretty much the only thing on console I think is motion blur. Turn that off and that kind of stuff. But this is mainly a PC oriented optimization guide. Anyways, always play full screen. Windowed full screen and windowed add input delay. So always play full screen. If you get the black bars on the side, I highly suggest putting it into windowed 720p, going back into full screen 720p, and then switching it to 1080p. That's how I fixed it. Brightness I have on full, 150%. That way I can see the most in the dark and everything. The contrast is preference. Colorblind mode, I don't see too much of a difference, so I have it off, but you could optimize it and go Protonope 10, but I just find it a bit different, strange, or so. So I don't normally use a colorblind. It just makes my videos look strange as well. So your graphics quality, this is very important. Never play epic or anything, that can just make your PC go crazy. But I always play low, 90% 3D resolution. That way I gain a bit of FPS, because my 1050 Ti isn't the fastest card for streaming and stuff. I have everything on the lowest just because it's more optimal. But if you have a better GPU, you may raise your view distance to epic or textures to epic, whatever you want. But don't do effects, post-processing. Anti-aliasing will make it blurry and not sharp and pixely. And then shadows keep off. This kind of stuff you don't want to touch. Just your view distance and textures are more competitive optimization stuff. VSync off adds input delay. Motion blur off, obviously you're not stupid, are you? Then you can show your FPS, but you can keep it off, it just depends. And use DirectX 12 if it's not buggy for you. Mine is very buggy and I can't record, so I use DirectX 11. Allow multi-threaded rendering. I put this on. This is very useful, but it's only if you have a multiple core processor and multiple thread processor. I have a 6 core, 12 thread AMD Ryzen 5 processor. It's a pretty good processor, 2600. So I use allow multi-threaded rendering on. But if you don't have this option, that means your CPU doesn't support it. But if your CPU supports it, it should have this option. Turn it on at all costs. It boosts your FPS. Some cases it might not. If it doesn't, then turn it off. But normally it should. It's really good, and most people gain FPS from it. Anyways, our next thing is your matchmaking region. I highly suggest not putting it on auto, as sometimes it might be buggy and not really work out well. So I put on Oceania, because that's my region. If you're Brazil, Asia, whatever, you know, put it on your region. Now, toggle sprint I have on, off, sorry. It's just a bit strange how you can tap it, but I highly suggest unbinding your sprint bind and just putting on sprint by default. That way you have an extra bind to work with if you need it. Now, the next thing is sprint cancels reloading. If you want to be able to quickly cancel reloading by sprinting, that's cool with me. You can turn it on, but I highly suggest it's off. It makes it more optimal. You don't accidentally, like, you know, cancel your reloading, especially if you have sprint by default. Auto open doors, there's a lot of cons with it. You can accidentally open doors you don't want, like you're in a box fight and someone edits a door, you'll open it and they can shoot you in the face. But anyways, I keep it on because if I build and I choke and edit and I want to still continue gaining the height, but if I don't have auto open doors, I won't open the door. Anyways, tap to search, pretty OP if you have scroll wheel pickup, so you should always have this on if you use scroll wheel pickup. Auto sort consumables to the right. This is pretty good because your consumables will go to the right of your inventory. Let's just say you normally have your consumables in your first slot or something. What a weirdo. But you should probably change your binds. That way they move to the end and your guns can go here. So let's say Z is my mini slot. I would move Z and put it all the way at the end. That way instead of 4 being at the end, I would have it as Z and then put 4 at the front. Like that. That way my inventories will be much neat and easier to work with. Now the building tab is quite interesting because there's some things that people might not want. Like turbo building. They might be an idiot and have turbo building and confirm edit on release off. But now's the time to get used to turbo building, which I'm sure most people are, and confirm edit on release. This is important to keep on. This is very, very, very good. If you have confirm edit on release, you will not only become much faster at editing, but you will also be able to edit more consistently and more clean. Now the reset building choice is mainly for controller, to be honest, because you don't really swap into your building and use scroll wheel to swap between your builds. So I highly suggest this to be off if you're PC, because you just have a certain bind for the build. Because I don't even have a bind for my switch mode for PC. But for controller, you might want this on to your wood wall or something like that. I don't know. Now your game UI, you should have everything on. This stuff gives you so much vital information. And also this, you don't want it too big because it takes up too much of your screen. But if you have it just the right size, not too small but not too big, that way you can have the right amount of information, but it won't be covering half your screen pretty much. Now for your mouse and keyboard sensitivities pretty much, the main thing is pretty much your X and Y sensitivities. So these are very preference based. If you have too high of a sense, you'll be really good with building and editing, but you won't be too good at aiming. And the same goes with low sense. Your building and editing will be much slower than if you were in high sense, but your aim will be insane. So I highly suggest you just do whatever you prefer with, or whatever your setup is like, to go with a high sense if you don't have enough space or you just prefer it, or a low sense if you're used to it. I think a low sense is good, as I used to play even like 5% 400 DPI, but I went to 9% and then to 13% just now because I need to optimize my binds. So I've changed a few things around since the tournaments have ended. Now your targeting, they should be a bit lower. I say like 20 to 50% is good. Any lower, it's a bit too low, and any higher, it might be a bit too high. This is so you can spray people out the sky with your AR while aiming in. That's why your sense is lower when you aim in, because this is the multiplier. If you have a 50%, it's 50% of your main X and Y sense. You got that? Cool. Now your scope sense, I have it as the same as in Kovacs and whatever. I don't have to change around too much settings to just practice my sniping. I don't use controller much. Now for audio, I have my sound effects slightly higher than my voice chat, just so I can hear my people's footsteps in the building a bit more. And this is important. People thought that your sound quality would affect your game. It does not. Put it on high, it's perfectly fine. Okay? And then for 3D headphones, it would cut out for me, so I have it off. But if you have a good PC and it doesn't cut out for you at late games with 50 people or so, 4th zone, whatever, 3rd zone, then you should have this on. This is really useful. Background audio, that kind of stuff is preference. I have it off because I don't want to alt tab and then hear Fortnite gunshots. Now this is your keybinds. This is very important. I have double movement, normal WASD, spacebar. I have unbinded my sprint, so I could use shift for something else, which I haven't yet, but I might find it in the future. Now your main important things is your use button. I have mouse wheel up, but I still have it as E, so it looks clean. I don't like seeing a mouse every time. Harvesting tool is 1, ZX234. This is very optimal. Building from my walls, front side mouse button, sorry. My floor is middle mouse button, push down. Not scroll up, not scroll down, push down. My stairs are back side mouse buttons. My roof is C. My trap is T. And that's pretty much your main important things. Your building binds, you should have as much on your mouse. If you have double edit binds, tough luck. Editing should be like F, if you can get it to F. If you don't have any binds, put it F, V, left, shift, whatever is like optimal for me. I say using your index finger is good, or your thumb, because those are two strong fingers. Your pinky isn't as strong and can't jitter click as fast, where I can jitter click with my left index finger and my right thumb. So those are pretty much the main things for keybinds. Most of my binds are already optimized for a long time, like my builds. I've had them optimized pretty much from the get-go. when I figured out that you needed different mines for building. I used to use F4 for cones because I never used cones, but yeah, look at me now. Anyways, I want to thank you guys for watching the video and for watching so much of my other videos and subscribing to me. If you want to see more videos, like how to become a creative warrior and all these other things, I will teach you guys this stuff in another video. But subscribe, hit the bell notification, and that way you guys can get notification and see my video when the videos come out. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next video, which should be my creative warrior video. Peace.